6. So we dive in right away. The C major scale will be built and we will be using the piano as you can see to learn it. Then we later transform it into a discount recorder. But before we start with looking at it on the piano, we look at some key terms defining what we need to know. The C major scale. As you can see, we're looking at some terms because the terms are used quite often. And the first term we look at is a note. In music, at the moment, from what you learned from grade 4, you'll notice that a note is a sound. So if you can hear me, I am speaking. And for you to hear me, sound must travel to you. I must produce sound. That sound is in form of notes. So any sound you produce must be a note. We'll be looking at how it varies when we define pitch. On the other hand, pitch is a feature which describes how high or how low a sound is. Pitch is a feature which defines or describes how high or how low a sound is. It is a feature which describes how high or how low, which means sounds can be of a higher pitch or sounds can be of a lower pitch. The next thing we define is a scale. A scale is a series of 8 notes. 8 notes. And the notes start and end with the same letter note. So if it is starting with A, it proceeds until you meet the next A. Now you will notice that the scale depends on notes. So a scale will be made of quite a number of notes, and in this case, what we are looking at the major scale, which is made up of 8 notes. And the notes will vary also depending on pitch. So as you move from one note to the other, the pitch changes. You can either go high in the pitch or go low in the pitch. Now let's focus on the main idea of the C major scale. The C major scale will have 8 notes, but you have to know that the names of the notes are derived from the alphabet. So we use the first 8 letters of the alphabet, which are A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Each letter represents a note, and the note has a different pitch from the other letters. So if we focus on C major scale, the C major scale will be made up of 8 notes, and the notes will start with C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and onto the high C. It will focus onto the high C. What do we mean by high C? That the C without an apostrophe will be having a lower pitch than the C with an apostrophe, which means you are increasing in pitch as you move from the first C to D to E up to C with a prime, which we call high C. Now, in this case, when you're looking at scales, we have what we call ascending and descending scales. As we are focusing on the C major scale, we first look at what is an ascending scale. And ascending scale refers to playing the notes of the scale from C to high C. And in this case, it is characterized by an increase in pitch. For example, you're starting with C, then D, E, F, G, A, B, and back onto high C. Next, we look at the descending scale. We refer to it as a descending scale if the notes are played now in the reverse order compared to ascending scale. In this case, you start with high C, then B, A, G, F, E, D, and end with a starting C. And this is the catch. In ascending scale, pitch increases, characterized by an increase in pitch. In descending scale, pitch decreases from the first note to the last note, so it is characterized by a decrease in pitch. Note how it's going to look like when we work on the piano so that you can understand what it means by ascending or descending scale. Here is an example of a piano. You can hear the sound. So we will start with the C3. This one here highlighting in B, in blue. So assume that this is the C. So we'll have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and onto high C. On a piano, you recognize a C as the white key just next to the pair of two black keys. You can see, for example, C3, C4, all are Cs. So C3 has a lower pitch compared to C4. And they are 8 in number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And when we explore the C scale, it means music can be written. And when music is written, excuse me, it can be written in the C scale where all the notes are used, but not in that specific order. The notes can be used in any order to play a melody. An example. There's a very common melody, Are You Sleeping? In the key of C, but the notes keep changing. And in fact, at that particular point, we are not using all the 8 notes. One more time. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Brother John, Brother John. What you need to know on a piano keyboard in this case is that even this can still work as our C. Then as we move to the right, this one works as our high C. So we're going to have most importantly, you need to know that a scale is made up of a series of 8 notes. They start and end with the same letter name. We take a small break. When we meet, we work on the Kenya national anthem, which was played in the key, or was written rather, in the key of C. Welcome back. Now we play the national anthem. We start on the keyboard slowly, gently. Then you find your descant recorder and we work with it. Start with. And now when we're starting, it doesn't start with C. It is in the key of C, but usually starts with a D. And in this case, it starts with a D higher than this, which means it starts with a D4. So we do it. That's how it's played, of course, adding a few things here and there to break the monotony of one note. But you'll notice it uses all the white keys. And therefore, one more thing to notice is that when you are using the scale of C, you deal with the white keys only. We've not used black keys like these ones. We've not used them. They are not part of the notes which make up the C major scale. Now we proceed. In this case, we want to look at the C major scale on a descant recorder. And at this point, I would ask you to have your descant recorder with you. Then once you have your descant recorder, in the next 30 seconds, we begin as we'll be playing the notes on the major scale of C. But remember, at the end of the session, you can use in the description section the link which leads you to the playlist on how to play notes of the descant recorder. So as you look for your descant recorder, take 30 seconds. Welcome back. I hope you have your descant recorder with you. Just one thing to note, always try to have an original the scan recorder so that you do not compromise the sound quality. So we go and play the Kenya national anthem. But to make it easier for you, I will project or broadcast the notes so that you can follow through as we play it. There we go. 1, 2, 3, start. If you did it, wonderful. Just let me appreciate you. You will notice on the notes, we only using the notes which are on the white keys, and all these notes are part of the C major scale. Now, let's look at some sample questions we can be asked when specifically looking at the C major scale. One of the questions you could be asked is, what is a scale? Do not forget to remember that it is a series of notes which start and end with the same letter note. For example, it starts at C and ends at C, high C, or it could still start at high C and end at C. So instead of specifying, just say it starts and ends with the same letter note. Write down all the notes of the C major ascending scale. Key term is ascending. So we'll be having C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and lastly, high C. Write down all the notes of the C major ascending scale. We're done. Write down all the notes of the C major descending scale. Key word will be descending. So we have C prime, B, A, G, F, E, D, and C. How can you differentiate between an ascending scale and a descending scale? Differentiate. How can you know that this is an ascending scale, and how can you tell that this is a descending scale? The most important factor is looking at the changes in pitch. So changes in pitch are the most important identifiers. In this case, increase in pitch means ascending scale. Decrease in pitch means descending scale. So ascending will be increase in pitch. For the descending scale, you will notice it by a decrease in pitch from the first note to the last note. Fill in the missing notes to make the C major scale. The notes are not in order. Okay. So we have A, D, high C, and G. Okay. So it needs to start with or end with a C. Then we are also missing an F. No specific order. We are missing an E. Then we are missing a B. So those are some of the sample questions in which you can be asked when handling questions concerning the C major scale. I hope you've enjoyed the lesson. We meet again tomorrow, and tomorrow we look at notes, note values, and their time values, and how they are used into creating music. If you like the lesson, kindly hit the subscribe button. Also, share with friends so that they may also benefit from the knowledge. I appreciate and thank you for watching.